It was meant to be a simple errand. Just a quick stop. Nothing more than a brief visit to a small, quiet convenience store. Elena Carter wasn't expecting anything unusual. It was routine, just a quick pause before diving back into the day's duties. She stepped through the doors confidently, her stride sure, posture straight, her every movement exuding an unspoken power. The kind that made people notice. Respect followed her naturally, as if the air shifted around her. She moved through the store with purpose, not hurried but intentional, grabbing a bottle of water, a light snack, something to keep her going through the long hours ahead. But just as she approached the counter, ready to pay and leave, the atmosphere changed. Sharply. Near the coffee machine stood a man in uniform, Detective Ryan Mitchell. He leaned casually against the counter, sipping slowly from a steaming cup, the kind of man who thought the room belonged to him the moment he walked in. His gaze drifted lazily, until it landed on Elena. And that's when something flickered behind his eyes. Change. Narrowed eyes. Tension in his jaw. A kind of silent judgment passed in a fraction of a second. His body straightened, his face hardened. Suspicion, laced with something uglier, crept across his features. Why? Elena had done absolutely nothing wrong. But in his mind, stories were already forming, ones she had no part in writing. He stepped forward deliberately, his figure suddenly blocking her path to the cashier. "Hold on," he said, his voice steeped in authority, almost daring her to challenge it. "What are you doing here?" Elena didn't flinch. Her face remained calm, her tone unshaken. "Buying a drink," she answered evenly. "Just like everyone else." But Mitchell wasn't backing down. A smirk curled across his lips, laced with condescension. "Funny," he said, eyeing her up and down. "You don't exactly look like you belong in a place like this. What are you really up to?" His words hung heavy in the air. The cashier froze, his fingers faltering over the register keys. A couple of customers nearby stopped mid-motion, pretending to shop but clearly listening. The store, moments ago filled with humdrum silence, now buzzed with unease. Elena calmly placed her items on the counter. "If you'll excuse me," she said, her voice quiet but edged with iron. "I don't owe you an explanation." But Mitchell wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. What happened next? It would leave the entire store in stunned disbelief. And change everything. Elena could feel it, the shift. Though she appeared composed, every nerve in her body had tensed. Mitchell's presence wasn't just aggressive. It was threatening. His stance was firm, shoulders back, the weight of his badge pressing down on the space around him. "You think you can just walk in here like you run the place?" he said. His voice low now, more dangerous. "People like you. You think rules don't apply." Elena took a breath, slow, steady, reining in the heat rising inside her. This wasn't the first time she had encountered this type of man, one who mistook power for superiority. But she would not let him break her calm. She refused to yield to intimidation. "I don't know what you think I've done," she replied coolly, "but this is harassment. And you know it." That got a reaction. Mitchell gave a dry laugh, but it was humorless, bitter. "Harassment," he scoffed. "You've got some nerve." And just like that, it escalated. Without warning, his hand shot out, grabbing her arm, squeezing with unnecessary force. A startled gasp escaped someone near the snack aisle. A bottle tipped from a shelf and shattered. The noise startled a woman by the entrance, an older lady clutching a purse. She cried out, "Hey! What's going on?" A deep male voice echoed through the chaos. "Is everything okay?" A man in his 40s stood near the coolers, watching closely, concern etched on his face. "This doesn't concern you," Mitchell barked, not even turning to look. But the man didn't back down. He stepped forward slow and measured. "It does when I see someone getting grabbed like that. You need to let her go." Mitchell tightened his grip, as if to reassert control. "Step back," he growled. "This is police business." Elena's pulse thundered, but her face remained composed. She stared him down, her voice razor-sharp. "You have no right to put your hands on me." Mitchell leaned in closer, nostrils flaring. "I have every right," he hissed. The older woman reached for her phone, hands trembling. I think someone should call the police." That hesitation, that single second, changed everything. Mitchell's fingers clamped tighter, his authority turning into something physical, oppressive. Elena held her ground, but the tension was suffocating. The man by the refrigerators moved again, this time with force. "Let her go," he shouted, storming toward them. What happened next was a blur. The man shoved Mitchell hard, knocking him off balance. Elena stumbled back but kept upright. Mitchell, trying to recover, reached instinctively for his weapon. But Elena was faster. Reflexes honed from years of training kicked in. She dropped low, swept her leg, and sent him crashing to the ground. His head smacked against the tile floor with a thud. Silence fell over the store. Mitchell lay there, groaning, dazed. The cashier was frozen mid-motion. The older woman clutched her phone to her chest, mouth agape. The man who helped Elena stared, wide-eyed. Then, the jingle of the entrance bell. Another officer stepped in. His eyes went wide as they took in the scene. "Elena. Carter," he breathed. Mitchell blinked, his confusion morphing into horror. Now he knew. He hadn't just messed with any random woman. He'd assaulted Special Agent Elena Carter, FBI. And everything was about to unravel. The store, silent just seconds ago, now buzzed with the weight of realization. Sergeant James Reynolds, the newly arrived officer, assessed the situation with a trained eye. He looked at Mitchell, still sprawled on the floor, then at Elena standing tall. "Agent Carter," he said, trying to steady his voice. Mitchell's breath was shallow. He knew what was coming. Elena brushed off her sleeves, her face unreadable. This wasn't new to her. But never had it been so blatant. "I assume your body cams are active?" she asked Reynolds. He nodded slowly. "Yes, ma'am." "Good," she replied coldly. "Because your officer just committed assault and unlawful detainment. In full view of a dozen witnesses." Mitchell scrambled upright. This isn't what it looks like," he stammered. Elena's stare shut him down. "Just what? Racial profiling? Badge abuse?" She stepped forward, voice calm, cutting. "Tell me, officer, do you treat everyone like this? Or just the ones you think don't belong?" Nobody spoke. Until the man who intervened did. "We all saw it. You're done." Mitchell turned to Reynolds, eyes pleading. But Reynolds's face was stone. Into his radio. "Dispatch, this is Sergeant Reynolds, requesting immediate internal review. We have a situation." Mitchell paled. Elena stood still, watching it all unfold. She didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Mitchell had sealed his own fate. As sirens wailed in the distance, the atmosphere inside the store grew heavier. The power Mitchell once held gone. Replaced by accountability. Reynolds stepped forward. "Mitchell. Badge and gun. Now." No, you can't be serious. You assaulted an FBI agent, Ryan. And we both know this isn't your first complaint." Elena watched silently as Mitchell, now trembling,